everybody, and welcome to Monday, September 20th. For today, we are starting a new essential question. How can building background help us infer a text? Today is a pretty simple day. I just wanted to make some announcements before I continue. Today is odds, 1357. 6 weeks grades are due for me on Friday. If you have any missing assignments, please make sure they're coming into me. And all those old assignments will be closing soon. So I'm just going to close them out. Moving forward, they will be closed after every 2 weeks. So just be aware of that, okay? So today, super simple day. We're going to work on our do now, and then we're going to work on building some background, all right? So first and foremost, folks, happy fall. I know it's not for another day or two, but fall is starting up, so I just wanted to change it up a little bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and build some background, folks. We are actually going to be learning about quite a few things for this upcoming reading unit that we are going through, which is going to be our Study Sync in Pursuit. So our building background today is going to be on Afghanistan and the other side of the skies. My periods 1, 2, 5, 6. Remember, for homework, you had to complete your annotations and your note-taking. So you guys are familiar with this a little bit more. My 3, 4 is going to be a little bit new for you, but don't worry, we're all coming back to the same page for today. So I'm going to go ahead and present what we did in class today on Monday. So we had, I had you guys go ahead and take out a piece of paper, so physical paper, and on the top, I had you guys in the top right corner, right here, put your header, start with your name, legal first and last name. So for example, Ms. Ornelas' legal first and last name is Ms. Ornelas. This is ELA, remember, ELA 7, period. What period is this? In many of your cases, it's period 1/2, 3/4, or 5/6. Then you're going to put today's date. So today's date is September 20th, 2021. Okay? So that's just your header. Make sure it's always on that right-hand corner. Then I had you guys, for your title, I did have you write a title. Your title is Afghanistan. I misspelled Afghanistan. Sorry, you guys. Afghanistan and the other side of the sky. So Afghanistan and the other side of the sky, because that is going to be what we read for this week, so make sure that's a little bit centered. Okay. All right. Then what I had you guys do is go ahead and write right here under this section, main idea. So same as the other notes, you guys are just doing it on your own this time. So what is the main idea of these notes? So for many, I like starting at the end. I like writing my main idea at the end, but I'll write it at the beginning so you guys have a better idea of what we're going to be learning about. We're going to be learning about the connection between Afghanistan and the story, or really it's a memoir, comma, the other side of the sky. You guys make sure you're underlining that title. That's how you properly punctuate a novel's title, because this is a novel, although we will be reading just an excerpt, okay? Once you have your main idea, go ahead and write down your essential question. Okay? So your essential question for today is, how can reading and understanding, oh, whoops, that was not the essential question. I'm so sorry, folks. Let me get that for you real quick. Okay, so the essential question that we use is actually, how can we understand and infer the affairs of other countries? Okay. Because we are focusing on other countries, primarily one other country, but other countries for this kind of mini unit. All right, and then, so once you have that essential question, I asked you guys to go ahead and fold your papers. I am going to show that folded paper through a line here. I'm just going to draw. Right there. Okay, on the left-hand side is where you guys are going to write your subsections and your your subsections and your questions. On the right is where you are going to be taking notes. Okay, so the first subsection that we are going to go through is Afghanistan today. I showed you guys on actually a Google map. I twisted the globe so you guys could actually get that virtual field trip to Afghanistan. We learned that Afghanistan is really at the crossroads of multiple countries. It's at the crossroads of Europe, Asia, the Middle East. It's close to Africa. It's close to these large continents and nations such as India. So it's right in the middle of just kind of everything. So that's something we learned at. So that was that is the subtopic. So that's subtopic 1, Afghanistan now. Okay. Then on the right side, once we looked at the location, once we had talked about how it's at the crossroads of all these countries, I had you guys go ahead and take a brief note. Ms. Ornelas likes bullet point notes, but I won't be doing them in this example, just so that you guys can see just my general notes. So Afghanistan is at the crossroads of Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. Okay. It's actually much closer to Asia than any of the other real continents, but that is something that I'm going to just make a note of in general, okay? And then we moved on, during my presentation, we moved on to look at Afghanistan today, so we got to see some drone footage of the physical topographical landscapes, so the mountains, how it's deserty, how some areas are extremely lush, and those areas typically will have rivers. Then we learned a little bit about Kabul. So Kabul is known, this is the capital city of Afghanistan, one of their largest cities. We talked about how it is the Paris of Central Asia. So I have some images there. We talked about some of the art from Kabul, how the artists are often unknown, unnamed because of some of the historic regimes. And we'll talk about the history in just a moment. And then we got to see some of the bazaars and take that virtual field trip into the bazaars. So that is something we did while looking at Kabul. I had you guys go ahead and take a note on Kabul as well. And then we watched this video of a culture of tradition and sharing that Afghanistan has. So these are some of the traditions that are present in Afghanistan. And then we watched that, and then we talked about family. So we really got a big look at some of the culture in Afghanistan, family, what it means today. I had you guys take various notes as we went along. So for example, in class, one note that I took is Kabul is the capital city and largest city of Afghanistan. It is known as the Paris. Miss Ornelas can spell Paris of Central Asia. Okay. And then I'm going to make these just a little bit bigger because these are hard to see just already as they are. Oh, wonderful. I love that it does not let me enlarge it for you guys. I'm sorry about that. Just trying to change the font size. It's a little small to see. Okay. Then, once we finished up that subsection, I had you guys on the left write a question down that you had about Afghanistan, about Kabul, about the culture, and about family. One question that came up in class is, why is Afghanistan so family oriented? Okay. Why is family such a big deal in this country, in this society? Okay. So that's something that we looked at in class. And then we went to subsection 2. Okay? So subsection 2 is going to be Afghanistan of the past. And we looked at some of the history of Afghanistan. So right here you should have Afghanistan of the past. Okay? For many of my classes, this is about as far as we got. We went over this slide, and then you guys ran out of time, so we kind of ended our lecture there just a little bit early. We talked about how Afghanistan is a tribal-based society. that is highly impacted by the Islamic religion, and it's a highly contested area. There's many warlords, there are many wars in this area. It's known as the graveyard of empires. This country has seen war back to back to back. And we watched a brief video right here on the right about some of that ongoing warfare, okay? So as you guys take brief notes on this, known as, so my note that Mr. Nellis took in class was known as the graveyard of empires, okay? Some of you took notes saying that it's constantly in war or undergoing warfare. Alright. We also talked about how ironic it was, too, that this country that is known as the Paris of Central Asia is constantly going through war. Alright. So then moving on, we watched this video, the Graveyard of Empires, and then that's where we left off. So I had you guys in your notes. Go ahead and write one final question about the Afghanistan of the past. So question. What question do you have about Afghanistan of the past? Okay. Why is this region constantly in war, which was one of the questions Mr. Nellis had for this little area. And then we are going to pick up tomorrow with the rest of it, and then we're going to get started with our story. Alright, you guys, as always, if you have any questions or need more information, please feel free to reach out to me before or after school, and I'll see how I can help you guys out. There is no homework, as we're only building background at the moment, and I want to make sure you guys are turning in your assignments, so no homework for today. Alright, guys, as always, go ahead. I'll see you guys in class.